It's summer here in College Park, and we're getting to know our Terps women's basketball team a little bit more. So I'm joined here by Ava McKennie, a sophomore on the Maryland women's basketball team. Happy summer. Good to see you.
Yes, happy summer.
So we'll get to the basketball stuff, but I hear you're a big fan of Legos.
I am an extreme fan of Legos. I've been obsessed with them since I was a kid, but now I'm into all the more intricate sets, and they just are an easy way to express myself, and I just love following directions. It just makes things so simple.
That is, so when I was building Legos, I hated looking at the directions because I would look at the picture and be like, I can probably figure that out. And now as an adult, I do that with furniture. It doesn't have the same results.
It does not.
But you actually
I like the actual instructions because I look at them and I'm like, how am I supposed to put this together? And then it tells me, and I'm like, perfect. I would not be able to figure this out without them.
That's fair, because some of them, especially because you talked about some of the ones that you're now making, the adult Legos, as I call them, they're not easy to put together.
Easy, no.
Are you building anything right now?
Right now I'm finishing up putting together, I think it's a Jeep, but it's a pretty decent sized thing. And then there's a lot of straps and things to make the wheels spin, and the motors actually work and stuff for the car to make noises and stuff. So those are a lot more extreme than I was used to when I was younger.
That is very involved. Yeah. I was I have the little Star Wars things like Indiana Jones, and now there's motors involved, which is crazy. So how many, I guess, do you currently have in your possession right now?
Currently have at my apartment, I have 13, 14. Currently have in total, even at my house, I have at least 30.
Wow. How do you store these? You have a bookcase?
I have a lot of shelves at home, and then I have a shelf here too.
Okay.
But my favorite ones are the Lego flowers, because then you can use them as decoration too. So I have those sitting around my apartment because I don't want to try and keep a real plant alive. Yeah. But the Lego ones are pretty.
That's kind of like a cheat code a little bit. Yeah. You can still build Legos and you have decor for your apartment. That's sick. So what else, when you're not playing basketball and not building Legos, what do you like to get up to?
I'm an avid reader. I love reading. Me and Mir actually have a little book club going on.
Sweet.
But yeah, I'm a pretty chill, simple person. Outside of basketball, I'm usually just TV, reading, Legos, those things, and hanging out with friends.
What is the book of the book club currently?
So our book club is different. We don't actually like the same genre. So we read different books and then just tell each other about them because we couldn't finish.
Feels like cheating.
Yeah, we couldn't finish each other's books because we just have very different tastes in books.
So what is your taste in books then?
So my taste in books is a lot more fantasy and romance books.
Okay.
Hers are mystery and thriller books.
Dang.
So we like listening to the other express their books, but we wouldn't read them ourselves.
You just maybe wait for the movie.
Yeah, and then we force each other to read at least one of the other person's books, and half the time we don't finish it. So we've discussed that part of the book club cannot happen.
But you've made an effort at least.
We made an effort to try and be civil with each other's books. It just doesn't work.
How long has the book club been going on?
Since the beginning of the season. We take books with us when we travel away, and we take pictures, and we try and find bookstore in all the cities that we've gone to, and when we travel to buy a book when we go to each place.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
support your local bookstores.
Yes.
So kind of outside of that, I guess, how did those kinds of things help you kind of reset off the court, like basketball practice, intense games, traveling, but those things you can kind of do your own thing?
Yeah, I think it's really helpful because you just need a reset for your brain. It's constantly plays and knowing the other team's scout and all that stuff, and all that's stuck in your head. So when you need to get an escape. For me, that's books, and I know talking to Mir is just another connection we have off the court. It helps us on the court too, because now we built a deeper connection with each other than we already have. So having each of those side things that I have with each of my teammates, it really just builds a better relationship for all of us.
I think that's something that people really recognize a lot, is just how tight these Maryland basketball groups are. A lot of people toss around family and stuff, but here in College Park, it's very, very true.
Yeah.
And so I guess for people that haven't been on the inside of the program, how would you kind of describe that dynamic to people?
Well, I think the dynamic, so I was lucky that my freshman year we went and traveled to Croatia.
Yeah.
So that built our bond that I don't think anything else ever could break, because we were stuck in a foreign country together. People didn't know us. We just had each other. So I know that the memories I have with that are definitely some of the ground stones for my relationship with most of these girls. And then it's just that we're always together, but it's not, we want to be together.
Right.
We don't have to spend time with each other outside of basketball, but we choose to. We go to dinner together, we do all these activities just because it's fun, and we know that we can count on each other to be there for our events. I know that for some of our teammates, they had events that they went to and they invited us because they felt like we would be there to support them outside of this. And it's just something that makes us really close. And like you said, people throw out family, but that's what we are.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those cliches that get tossed around in athletics a lot, but when it's true, it's really true. And it shows out on the court, because if you're close off the court, then your play just on the court is going to be better. I guess, how does that, all of the connections off the court, lead to just being on the same page a bit more when you're playing?
Because it helps you understand more than just the way they play. I can understand the emotions of my teammates. I understand when they're being pushed, when they need to be pushed more, and it just makes it easier to not overextend each other, and then not to overextend those relationships that we have with each other.
And so I guess, like, you're also involved in kind of the College Park community a bit, and with the McKennie Foundation and stuff that they're doing. I guess, what has been your involvement there, and what has that kind of meant to you?
So the Jordan McNair Foundation, I've been lucky enough to be a part of it since it first began. I was an ambassador for the Kobe Foundation, for the Kobe organization of it. But my brother was really close to Jordan. He played football here. And then when I started with the program, it became more about understanding yourself and being able to advocate for that. Like, it started out as education about what heat stroke and all those things can do to a person, and it's developed into something that supports athletes into being able to speak up to their coaches, to their athletic trainers and things like that, so that we feel safe in the environment we're in. It gives each of us a voice so that we don't feel like a part of a system, like a cog in a wheel that can just be forgotten and broken and replaced. It gives each of us a stance so that we can speak out for ourselves.
I guess, what conversations have you had with your teammates about the stuff that you kind of been doing there?
So thankfully, Maryland is very much in the Kobe Foundation. Like, Kobe is a part of everything. Jordan McNair Foundation is a part of everything. So I think education-wise, Maryland does a pretty good job of educating their players. But I just make sure that I talk to each one of my teammates, make sure I understand them on a mental level, how they're doing. I know when they need a break so that I can help advocate for them too. Because sometimes that can be hard, especially like as a freshman and other things like that. You need to know when you need to speak up for each other and yourself, because pushing yourself to the limit doesn't always do the best thing it can for you.
Right, and I think that's something that a lot of people, they're like, athletes are like, they must be intense and like full force like all the time kind of thing. That's unsustainable. That's not really the best way of going about doing it. And so it seems like you guys have a really good sense of your limits and understanding like what your guys, I guess, goals are.
And I think we're lucky that our coaches, they want to keep pushing us, but they don't want to overextend us that we can't continue into a good place. They want us to push ourselves in a healthy way that makes us better mentally and physically, rather than just pushing us past our limits.
And you mentioned your brother played football here, Ellis. I guess, you know, what conversations did you have with him about maybe becoming a Terp yourself, or did you not really talk about it much at all?
He was a really big part of my recruiting process and stuff. He took me to all the visits. But thankfully he never pushed Maryland over any other school. He was never trying to lead me down one path so I followed in his footsteps or anything like that. He actually made me responsible for that decision. He made me think about each school. He traveled with me to each school, pointing out the pros and cons. It was me one day, I remember, that I called my mom and I was like, I don't know why I'm still doing this recruiting thing. I want to be Maryland is where I feel comfortable. And so I just stopped the whole recruiting process and I said I want to go to Maryland. So I think it was really him that empowered me to make that decision, and less of him showing me why Maryland was a better school. Because I just grew up around Maryland. I went to all the football games. I went to all the basketball games. I've watched Coach Freeze coach for as long as I've been alive. So it's just been, I felt the most safe here, and it's just close to my family, and I love the coaches. So.
And had he been pushing that a lot of times with and I am an older sibling, so I know this, but you might be like, nah, you want me to do that, I'm definitely not going to do that.
He might have done a little reverse psychology on me where he didn't push it so that then I wanted to go here. But he was really supportive in whatever I did, and I knew that even if I didn't pick Maryland, he would have come and seen my games, he would have worked with me and all that stuff. So it just so happened that Maryland was also a place I fell in love with.
Yeah, so obviously very athletic family.
Yes.
What was it like kind of growing up? Because you guys aren't that far apart in age.
So me and my brother Ellis are 8 years apart.
Okay.
And growing up, my family, like you said, is very athletic. My dad played basketball at GW. My cousin played basketball at Penn State. So I tried every sport that existed before I found basketball. I did tennis, I did baseball, I did volleyball, track, I did everything. And I just remember falling in love with basketball. I don't know if it just brought me closer to my dad and my cousin, because I took my cousin's number. She was number 5, and that's kind of why I chose number 5, is because I always looked up to her for basketball. But I don't know where it came in to fit in, but basketball just felt where I fit best. I succeeded in basketball, I was doing well, I felt challenged, but I also felt like I could succeed in it. So basketball just is where I wanted to connect with my family better, and it just so happened that it is. Even in high school, I played 3 sports. I did volleyball and track, so those were fun, but they just weren't where I saw my future.
Right. So I guess during the family get-togethers, who's winning the one-on-ones currently?
The one-on-ones so Ellis still might have me based on weight. He's a bit bigger than me, so I'm gonna give him that one. But yeah, I think I challenge most of my family members now that I'm older. Now that I'm here, I got some experience now. I can challenge a few of my family members.
How frequently do you guys kind of square off against each other?
We square off a little bit less. We're all traveling different places. My cousin plays overseas basketball. But I'd say I would square off with Ellis more than anybody. He still comes up. We still play basketball against each other. So it's pretty common. My dad can't do it as much anymore, but now he's like a coach yelling from the side, coaching us both. So, but yeah,
he can't really pick an allegiance.
He can't. No.
You mentioned all the other sports that you played growing up. Do you think there were different parts of each of those that kind of contributed to your basketball ability?
100%. When I was growing up, I always tell people play more than one sport. It absolutely helps your ability in other things. When I did volleyball in high school, I know it helps my jumping, my timing, all that stuff. I love playing volleyball, like spiking, all that stuff. And then I felt it transitioning into basketball season when I could get blocks, when I could get the timing on jumps and things like that. And then when it comes to track, it's just training my speed and like my endurance. I love doing track. And then when people tell me I run like I did track, like I'm very technical with running and things like that, it's like it helps you, and it really does just make you a better, well-rounded athlete. I think.
Like a lot of the ones that you mentioned are all hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. Obviously, track not as much, but there's still some coordination involved. I guess how do you kind of see? You mentioned you always tell people like play multiple sports and things like that. A lot of times now, they're like parents, and especially like, no, you got to pick one thing from a young age and stick with that. But you're a good example of like, that's not really the case.
Everybody can have a different path when it comes to sports. I've done basketball since I was at YMCA. I was probably like 10 years old. I've done basketball. Basketball's the one that stuck with me my entire life. But I've done these sports on the side because I wanted to try something new. Who knows? Maybe those would be like my secret talent. Maybe it would be something that I wanted to change secretly. But I just think that doing different sports also opens up to different people. If I didn't do these sports, I wouldn't know half the friends that I have now and met half the people that I knew. But it also just makes you a well-rounded person in general, because through volleyball in my high school, I helped plan fundraiser events and I helped do all that stuff. I was a captain on that team. It just puts you in different situations that can be really helpful later.
You're clearly very involved off the court and just a lot of different stuff. I guess, how do you kind of see finding that balance between being a Division I athlete and the kind of grind that comes with that, but also knowing there's a lot more to life that I can be involved in outside of it?
So I'm going to shout out my high school, McDonough. They are a very good school, and I think they're what prepared me the most for college and being a well-rounded person, because through them, I was able to get involved in everything and feel like I had a support system to bring me back in when my head got too confused and too messed. And so I love working with charities. I love doing all this stuff. I ran the charity club at my high school. I planned a whole bunch of events while I was there. And it just puts you in a different perspective that you have to step outside of your bubble. Yeah. You have to think about what others are going through as well, to really being thankful for what you have.
Right.
So I think for me, balancing that is more of a balance of my understanding. I need those things to make me enjoy and understand what I truly have more. And it makes it more fun then when you realize that you have this gift every single day and that you can come back to it every single day.
Yeah, no, that's very well said. And you touched on a little bit earlier, but like the coaching staff is very understanding of a lot of that stuff and knows that like basketball's not the only thing you have going on. And they kind of encourage you to be involved in other things. So I guess, what is that like interacting with the staff, kind of just with the other aspects of your life that aren't on the court?
Yeah, they're amazing people. They want you to become an adult that understands the world, that understands that the ball does stop bouncing. I've had so many conversations with the coaches, Spanny, Coach B, about like what I have the potential to do with the skills I'm learning from basketball, because they know that like I'm a person that's very goal-oriented, so they help me create these goals and why these goals are important to me, so that when I'm outside of basketball, I can have these other things and still be focused on what I need to focus on.
And you mentioned kind of like during your recruiting process, you got to points like, why am I still doing this?
Yeah.
I guess, what was it about Coach B and the rest of the staff and the program that just kind of made you feel like this is it?
I remember I was scrolling through Instagram and I was looking at all these schools that I was following and stuff like that. And I just keep seeing Maryland and like all the stuff they were doing with their players and like just the fun atmosphere they were posting about. And I remember thinking, I've seen this my entire life through my brother with the football program, through going to the games and watching the flag drop on the stands and being under that flag. And I just couldn't picture myself not being on the court when that happened.
Right.
Not having Coach B at my back, like cheering me on as I do this after watching her in the stands for so many years. Like, it's like when you meet your heroes and then you're a part of their lives.
Right.
Like, you're a crucial member of who they are now, and then they can help you change it, be a better person yourself.
Well, shout out our social media team because you got
yes.
David to come here. So
good job,
it's
social
working.
media.
I guess kind of looking ahead a little bit now, like, you're no longer one of the new face on the team.
Yeah.
And we were just talking beforehand, like, the freshmen just, like, moved in yesterday.
They did.
How do you kind of see your role is helping them kind of, like, get settled, even the transfers coming in, too?
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited. I love being able to help people. Like, it's just so much fun. And even just knowing my way around now, I realize how difficult it can be when you don't, like, understand what's happening, and, like, it can take a second. So I'm looking forward to being able to help the freshmen, like, calm down.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I came in, I was stressed. I was doing summer classes. I had to find things all over campus. I was worried about, was I eating right? Was I working out enough? And sometimes you just need people to help you take a second. Like, you're here for a reason. You know how to do this. You just have to adapt to a new schedule. That's pretty much it. And so I'm excited to get to know them, get to know how they're gonna play in our team, in the framework, and just, like, see how this relationship can grow with them and become a tighter family unit now that we have new members.
Yeah, I guess we probably should talk about some of the on-the-court stuff.
Yeah.
I guess in this off-season, kind of what are some of the things that you're focused on improving in your game?
For my game, it's ball handling. I really want to be a better facilitator for my team and being able to just drive to the basket by myself and being able to do that, as well as being able to take better shots for myself that I know I can make and that I know are going to be useful for my teammates.
And I guess overall, kind of like a play style and stuff, it ebbs and flows year to year, but based on the conversations you've had with the staff and some of the players, both returning and coming in, what are you guys kind of expecting this year?
I think we're expecting a team that really is offense and defense oriented. We want to be a team that is high ranking in both offense and defense. Rebounds, we push the ball out, and things like that. Those are standards for Maryland that never changes. We want to be a team that pushes the ball out, gets the ball moving, and now we just want to make sure we have lockdown defense as well. We make sure that we keep teams and then we keep our lead. We keep moving forward. It's not something that stops at halftime or anything like that. We just want to keep things moving.
Yeah. So, okay, we're going to do a couple kind of like fun rapid fire things before we get out of here. If you were to have like a walk-up song like in baseball, what do you think that would be?
Oh, walk-up song.
Favorite artist is like kind of an old question at this point.
Yeah.
So.
This is probably not a good one, but Doechie's Anxiety.
Oh.
If that, I just like that song.
The
vibe of the song is really good. The meaning of it probably isn't the best for a walk-up song.
Yeah.
It might also be true for me, but yeah, that's a song that's really stuck in my head right now.
That's fair, and I think that like your walk-up song is personal to you.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like your hype-up song necessarily, but would that also be what you're putting on like in the locker room pregame for everybody?
No.
What would that be?
My pregame playlist is vastly different than my teammates. I'm a musical kid.
Okay.
I love musicals. Hamilton might be the songs that I'm playing before the game and things like that, but I will not be playing that for my teammates. They would not enjoy that whatsoever. I can enjoy what they play, but yeah.
That is fair. Have they seen Hamilton? Many of them.
Some of them no. It's very concerning. It's very, very concerning. I've been trying to convince them to watch Hamilton with me, but it's concerning that most of them have not seen Hamilton.
I will be honest, I'm not a huge, I appreciate musicals and everything.
Yeah.
And I was sat down to watch Hamilton the first time, and they just kept singing and singing. I was like, this is a really long song. They're like, it's all singing. I was like, oh, that is not the kind of musical I'm used to. So, but it does mean that like you could have a full pregame playlist of just Hamilton stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite home-cooked meal?
Home-cooked meal, I love when my mom makes spaghetti. It's very simple, something that I ask for daily. I had to ask her how to make it so I could make it for myself. But it's simple. Oh, but if it's not that, I love her ribs. She used to make them for tailgates when we came from Maryland, so I love my mom's ribs.
How does she prepare them, or is that a secret?
I don't think it's a secret. It's probably a really basic recipe, but I just like it when she makes them.
That is fair.
And most people will be mad at me when I say this, but I don't like sauce.
That's fair.
I don't like barbecue sauce. I don't like sauce.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't have sauce on anything I eat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
If it's great by itself, you don't really need that much.
Exactly.
So come at us in the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
A TV show that you're currently watching or just finished binging?
Currently watching, Oh, I was watching Adults on FX.
yeah.
I think it is. I was watching that. But all-time favorite TV show is The Office. I watch that on repeat, just over and over and over on a loop.
If you were to be an Office character, who would you be?
I would want to be.
Well, there's a difference between
Kevin.
want to be and who you think you are.
Oh, who I think I am?
Well, we can do both.
I want to be Kevin.
Okay.
Kevin is just there,
Yeah.
enjoying his best
Pure
life.
vibes.
He has a bowl of M&Ms with
Yeah.
him. Just he's great. Who I think I might be, I hate to say it, I'm either Oscar or Toby, just because I don't think I could deal with everything that's happening. I think I would look at people and really be concerned about their cognitive thinking ability. Like Oscar really just questions how all these people got a job.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would probably be me on a daily basis.
And how they still have their jobs.
And how they still
after
have their
all this
jobs.
time.
Yeah.
So I would love to see like your team in like an office setting. And just like
Yes.
who would be.
I would love to see. I would love to see that as well.
Yeah.
I want to see my teammates in a purely business setting, and I want to see what that would be like.
This is meant to be a complimentary question. Who on the team would you think is Dwight?
Dwight.
And again, this is not a bad thing. We're all respected Dwight lovers out there.
Right.
And I probably will ask whoever you say about this.
Yeah.
So choose wisely.
Oh, Dwight is a hard one. Dwight is such a unique personality.
You may not have one. Not every team has a Dwight.
I don't think at the moment. Actually, I'm gonna say Issy.
Oh, okay.
She's very passionate about a lot of her stances on things.
Okay.
Not because of the things she likes. The things she likes are completely opposite of
Right.
Dwight. But it's mainly her reactions to things that are giving me Dwight energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Ava, appreciate your time. Best of luck this
Happy to be
upcoming
here.
season. Great to see you.
Thanks.
Stick with us for the next one.